On our team, we need subtractors, right? We need people who take things off of our plate, can run with it, and can handle it and manage it without really any huge interaction from us as the leader or, again, a manager, right? And instead, we oftentimes get adders, right? People who are asking questions and adding more to our plate versus taking it away. I'm Stephen Taylor. This is WeeklyST. For the last 10 plus years, we've been building a couple $1 million cybersecurity IT support company here in Chicagoland, and it is snowing outside. Please like, share, and subscribe. I've noticed, one of the biggest things for the growth of our business was when I fired myself from the technical role, right? Clearly, I think that freed up my time, got me to focus on the bigger picture, which is sales and the vision of the company versus doing the end user work, right? But another area that I see and I find often, whether it's within our own team and maybe it's a manager or, some of our higher level technicians, or I've seen it in other businesses, right? When you have a team of 5 employees, it's probably fairly manageable to, answer their questions and take care of their needs. But as that team grows to 10, 15, 20, 30 people, it is not sustainable for us as the owner or for someone on our team who might be a manager to, frankly, sit and answer questions all day. And I think this is one of the other big unlocks in business. And so we talk about, what is the result or what is the KPI or what is the number I'm going to watch. And so long as that is in range or where it needs to be, right? I'm not going to sit and micromanage. I'm not going to come to you looking for a status report because that number is being published, every single week through KPIs, whatever it might be. And that's in front of and transparent to the entire team so we can see who's doing well and who's not. And conversely, right, if the team member understands this is the result we're trying to get. Hey, we need tickets answered quickly. Hey, we need this many leads. Hey, we need this number of sales every single week. Then the team member isn't necessarily going to come to me asking questions because they know, hey, I need to get this many leads. Hey, I need to close this many tickets, right? And if a question comes up, right, as engineers and as business owners and as leaders, we often want to answer the question, right? We want to use our experience and our knowledge to just answer the question for the team member. But what that does is it begats more questions, right? Or it doesn't empower that team member to, not necessarily think for themselves, but to be able to handle those kinds of situations when they do arise, right? So talk it through. Answer the question with a question, right? Well, what would you do in this situation? And see where their mindset goes and see what they come up with, right? Oftentimes, I will let them go with their answer no matter what it is, so long as it's not going to get us into legal trouble or lose us a ton of money or things like that. But I want to empower and enable our team to think it through and come up with a solution on their own and then let them see where it goes, right? But it also gives you an opportunity to understand where their mindset's at or teach them your mindset. Hey, I might have done it this way, but here's why, right? So that they understand what your thought process is, what your goals are, what the vision of the company and how that, issue or situation might tie into that and how one path, continues with those values and how one path maybe doesn't, right? Often for me, it's the long game. It's being a good human. It's doing the right thing. And we may lose a little bit of money for that. We may lose a little bit of time. We may have to do a little bit of extra work. But that's the long game solution that I'm going for. And so I try and guide the team to understand that. Hey, we're willing to go out of our way. We're willing to lose a little bit of money and do it right versus, no, that's not our responsibility or that's not our wheelhouse or whatever other method might be. For me, right, I'm 100% okay with mistakes being made, right? And I think what I've seen in the biggest challenges of delegation is I'd rather do this myself and do it correctly versus take the time to teach somebody else or have them do it with the possibility or the probability that a mistake can be made. I've just taken a starkly different stance on it where I'm okay with mistakes getting made. I want to empower and enable the team to grow, right? That is their growth path, right? If I get them to start making decisions, if I can get them to maybe make a mistake, right? Or inadvertently they make that mistake, that's okay. And they're going to grow and they're going to be stronger, more empowered team members in the long run than if I end up, being the babysitter, in that I'm micromanaging, or I'm asking for sit reps, or I'm telling them everything that needs to be done when they ask questions, versus them kind of figuring out and understanding the vision, the goals, the outcomes, and getting to it on their own, right? One of the greatest things is having A players on your team, and people who are smarter than yourself as the leader, as the owner, right? That's going to lead to so much better for us as a company than me calling the shots because I think I know better. One of my favorite ways to answer questions in the office is, and it's become an acronym around here, is go with what you feel. And the team kind of, laughs or hem and haws, but at the end of the day, they typically figure out a solution to their own question, and they're left feeling responsible and in charge, and in a good way, right? Empowered to go and do things in our company. And so I try really hard to, shut up when a question is asked, and really just turn it back on them, and enable them to figure it out themselves. And of course that empowers me to be able to do more and do other things, instead of having to, get my hands involved in everything that's going on in the business. Around here, there are a ton of things that I know nothing about, and I'm 100% okay with that.